Welcome once again. My name is Edwin Maina, an IBMyP educator. I work in Mumbai, India, and I've been talking about SEL in international schools, social emotional learning for students. And I did one video where I introduced SEL and the importance and how schools can structure it within their timetable, explicitly or implicitly. And I decided that after that we are going to take one ATL skill or one component of the CASO framework, and we are going to start with self-awareness or self-management. In MYP it's self-management, in CASO framework it's self-awareness. Why do I start with this component or this component of SEL? Because I think it is the foundation of all SEL. Because if you do not know yourself, if you're not aware of your strengths, your weaknesses, your triggers, your boundaries, and so on, how are you going to relate to the world? How are you going to relate with other people? So I think it is the foundation of all ATL skills, of all SEL learning. And having said that, allow me to just take a minute to request you to subscribe to my channel so that once I release videos like this, YouTube can inform you. Now, SEL is social emotional learning, which is actually different from well-being. I've had teachers ask me, what's the difference? Well-being are those things we do in school to make students feel good, feel better, cope better. It could be allowing some time for them to play in the field, doing day trips, having sessions where we have, interactive sessions with them and so on. All these have to do with well-being. We are not intentionally training them. We are not intentionally creating any learning per se, but we make opportunity for them to feel good, to cope with, the school day, the school work, and so on. SEL is more intentional. It is curriculum based. It's more to do with teaching them a life skill that they will use in life, that they will use to, thrive in school, become better people, become successful learners, become people who enjoy school and healthy relationship with others. So SEL is a bit more intentional than well-being in terms of instruction and so on. So having said that, allow me to dive a bit deeper into self-management or self-awareness. Usually as teachers, when we talk about self-management, it's about submitting your work on time, completing your assessments, completing your homework, completing your tasks on time and submitting. But there's more to that. How do you manage your relationship with another student? How do you manage your relationship with a teacher? I've had students say, oh, teacher so-and-so does not like me. Why? Maybe the way they communicate with you, or they called you out for certain behavior and you think it was not right. How can you remedy that as a student? All that is involved in social awareness, self-awareness, sorry. All that is involved in self-awareness and self-management. What are your boundaries? Do people know your boundaries? Do you have boundaries? All this is self-awareness. What can you do and what can you not do? How much capacity do you have? I talked to a student one time. We had students cancel elections in my school, and I told the student, I think you should go for this position. And they said, no, I don't want to go for this position because as I'm not able to cope with my schoolwork. I'm barely coping with my academic work, so I cannot load myself with more work in leadership. Although it is something good, it's not for me now. And I thought, wow, that is self-awareness. That is a student who is making responsible decisions because they know their capacity, because they know what they can handle and so on. Assume, for example, a student hears something in class that is said by a teacher or by another student that they consider to be offensive, that they consider to be, that triggers them. If you have self-awareness, what are you going to do as a student? So this is where we teach students, how are you going to solve this? You can't let it go because it might happen again and trigger you again. You need to talk about it, but how do you talk about it? You know, do you write emails to everybody, to your parents, to the teacher, to everybody, the students? Is that responsible? Will it help? Will you try by maybe having a conversation with this person? And if you cannot appeal to them, maybe appeal to someone else who they can listen to. Maybe that is more responsible. And possibly they made an innocent mistake in class. So if that happens and they correct themselves and they say, sorry, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't mean to offend you, then you will have succeeded to make a friend of someone you would have considered maybe was triggering you on purpose, and they were not. So making amends like that, you know, being reflective about your actions, about your emotions, about your thoughts even. Your thoughts are very important. That is all that is involved in self-management and self-awareness. So in my thinking as a teacher, in my thinking as an educator, I think self-awareness and self-management is the foundation of SEL. We shall look at more in videos to come, communication, research, and so on. But I think self-awareness and self-management is the first and the foundational component of SEL. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.